Starting 5, 4, 3,
All right.
2, 1, and we are live. What is going on, Greg? How you doing, man?
Doing good, man.
Doing good.
Staying up because I gotta help out.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. All right, so this is gonna be our first ever podcast. Well, I have done a podcast in the past with like some influencers, but I guess our first solo one, and now we got a mod to help us out. Somebody's finally here. I was about to do the show all by myself, so I'm really glad that I don't have to do this 100% talking to myself, but let's see how this goes. So go ahead and tell us about yourself real quick, Greg.
My name is Greg. I'm 31 and I live in California.
Cali, okay. Do they play a lot of Diablo in Cali, or?
Not as much as you would think. As you said, the West Coast.
Ah, okay. Maybe that's why West is dead on botnet.
Yeah, I still play it because ping's better, but
okay. So first question, do you own a phone?
I do own a phone.
Okay, what kind of phone?
I am a proud owner of a iPhone 8 Plus.
iPhone 8. Oh, you're an iPhone kind of girl. Okay, I got it. You're hipster.
You know, if the girls don't see the blue, they don't, they're not down.
Okay. All right. So seriously though, so we all know what happened at Blizzcon, and the meme turned into a reality. I remember on my YouTube or Twitch or something, people would be joking around and they were like, what if we got a phone game? We're like, oh yeah, whatever. No way. Come on, dude. And then it happened. So what do you think about the meme becoming a reality?
I thought it was a slap into the face of the Diablo people who've been playing it for 20 years.
Yeah.
It's just a cheap cash grab. That's all it is.
Yep. And they outsourced it as well, right? So
yeah, it's just ridiculous.
That's such a bummer, man. It's such a bummer. Okay, so we'll get back to Diablo Immortal in a bit, but what are your predictions for BlizzCon 2019?
Well, I want to say that there'll be more information on Diablo Immortal, the game that nobody cares about. Hopefully some kind of reveal for a D2 remaster. I'm thinking they might go the route, but we'll see.
I hope so, man. I hope so, because I made a video with my predictions after, what was her name? Nebulous? Yes. I think her name's Wendy. No, not Wendy. What is it? Do you know her real name? I can't remember, but anyways, I know her name's Nebulous, and once she hyped us all up and said, hey, there's gonna be some big things coming at the end of the year, blah blah blah. After that, that's when I was like, oh my god, Diablo 2 Remastered is coming, Diablo Immortal, I didn't know Diablo Immortal was coming, Diablo 4 was coming, or something mega. So the expectations went through the roof. So I'm kind of scared to make predictions. But you're saying, I'm sorry, go ahead.
I was gonna say, I remember your video going into it about how excited you were. You seemed so pumped, and then the video after, yeah. I'm not gonna lie, you seemed so pissed. I'm surprised your computer survived. I'll just say that.
Yeah, I will say I've never broken anything. Like, I'm not that kind of guy. Like, get mad and break my own PlayStation or break my own monitor. I know people like that. I know people that will break their own controller and then they'll have to spend $60 on a new one. There's a lot of people like that.
Same, I agree.
Right. So, okay, my predictions. Man, I guess obviously Diablo Immortal, a lot of Diablo Immortal news. I think a smart company probably would hint at Diablo 4 and give us a trailer or some kind of image, or Diablo 2 Remastered or something. But this company, I don't see it happening this year. I don't know, man. I think they're idiots.
I concur. They've lost track of what made them big.
Yeah. So we'll get back into Diablo Immortal. That's a different topic, but dang. Okay, so the 20-year anniversary is coming up. I don't think it's this year for Diablo. I think that's next year. I'm not 100% sure on that, but we all know how it went for Diablo 1 for the 20-year anniversary. Have you played the Diablo Remastered on Diablo 3 crap? Have you played that?
I actually did.
And what'd you think?
It was interesting. It wasn't quite what I was hoping for, but it was okay. It just seemed like they were trying Diablo, but it really wasn't.
I thought it was dog shit, man. Thought it was dog shit.
Yeah.
Because, like, Okay, so the actual levels were still the Diablo 3 levels. Like, it was so lazy. Like, I was like, wait a minute, I know this map. And then went to the next map. I was like, oh, wait, this is Diablo 3. What the hell is this? It was the same. It was Diablo 3 bosses, Diablo 3 minions. The only thing they claimed that was different was like the Diablo 1 remastered character, which was garbage. Everything was terrible. Oh my God, I hated it. I really did. So hopefully they don't do that for the 20-year anniversary and disrespect us and say like, well, we're doing Diablo 2 remastered. Because I remember it was a few years ago when they did that, and I was watching it as Blizzcon live, and they were like, we're doing a Diablo 1 remaster. And I was like, oh shit, this is amazing. And they're like, and the best part is it's on Diablo 3. And I was like, no, no, why? Why? So
I especially love how their biggest update on that was they just changed your movement, like where you could only do the isometric style, but everything else was the same.
Yeah, yeah.
That's literally all they did.
It was so lazy. And I think It's only in February or January, something like that. It only works 1 month out of the year. You know, I don't really play Diablo 3 much. I did a long time ago, obviously. I think most people did, but God, if they do that, man, I'll be so disappointed.
I agree. I think we both will be.
All right, Diablo 2. So, what's your favorite character in Diablo and why?
Honestly, my favorite character would probably be Paladin. I know it sounds weird, but it was my first class, okay? The very first time I played it, so it's just like I had a Zealer. So it's a fun class. It's just, you know, it sucks now, obviously.
Ugh, come on. Those are the bots, man. That's what everybody... Come on.
I hate Hammerdins. I'll tell you that much.
That's good. All right. Pallies, huh? Okay, I'm all about the sorcerers, man. I'm all about the sorc. All right, what's your second favorite?
The sorceress, definitely.
There you go.
Such awesome spells.
Yeah, there's nothing like it. And my second would probably be... Oh, that's tough. Second favorite.
Assassin.
Assassin is definitely becoming my second favorite, actually. I don't think she's quite there yet, but I'd probably say Amazon or Necro. I don't know which one, but... Man, there's nothing like Lightning Fury and Cows. Like, for me, it just makes me so moist.
Absolutely.
You know? So moist.
Absolutely.
I get rock hard. And yeah, Necros are awesome. Poison Necro. Corpse Explosion is just amazing. I actually really like Summoner. I know it sucks ass and it's boring, but I like the idea of the Summoner. I think it's really cool looking.
Oh, yeah.
What do you think? What do you think of Assassins?
I like the Assassin. Really quick class. I like her pets and very unique play style, especially with the Whirlwind. It's really fun class.
Most definitely. Okay. All right. You got to pick 3 items from Diablo 2, right? You can only pick 3. What would they be and why? Doesn't have to be the strongest, just your favorite 3 of all time.
I'm going to have to go OG here. It's going to be the Grandfather,
okay,
the Wind Force, and then probably the Lightsaber.
Lightsaber. Okay, why Grandfather?
You know, I just started playing back in the original version of Diablo 2, and, you know, it's such a badass item. Like, it was, you know, it was the best item before they introduced the rune words, you know? A great item at the time.
Okay, so more of like the OG Diablo.
Yes, exactly.
You're not into the rune words.
Yes.
Okay, we'll get into that. There's a lot of people that aren't into rune words. I like rune words, but there's a lot of people who, you know, don't really favor them. My top 3. Yeah. All right, I'm gonna go with Shaco. That's probably number 1. All around, I just love it, man. I like the way it looks. I love the way it makes me feel from the original game. I love like 2 skills, attributes, life, mana, 10% damage reduction. I mean, everything about the Shaco. I love that thing. Second one. Oh God, probably Griffins. Like Griffins is awesome, dude. Like I freaking love that item. Obviously, I love it more in pod because you can get 3 open socketed, but that's different. And third item, which means the most to me. Ooh, that's tough, man.
It's hard because there's so many good items.
SOJ, Stone of Jordan.
Oh yeah,
easy. Stone of Jordan. Got to get the Stone of Jordan, man. Like,
do you know why I like the lightsaber though?
No.
The reason I like it was because it was in the original Diablo, so it's just a nostalgia for me.
Okay, so you played the original Diablo when it first came out, or what?
I did. I love that game.
Oh shit, you're old as dirt. I forgot about that. Forgot about that. Yeah, you're like 43, 47?
No, I'm 30.
I know, I'm kidding.
32.
I'm kidding.
31.
32, 31, 34, yeah. Something. I'm just giving you a hard time.
Somewhere between.
Somewhere in the 30s, 40s. I got you. I'm just kidding. Yeah, so I never really played that much Diablo 1. When I was a kid, I played a little bit. We'll get into that. Okay, so if you had a new patch, right? We're on 1.14D, I believe. What would 1.15 be for you? If you could bring it back, what would it be?
You know, that's a great question.
What would you implement? What would you change?
I would love them to add more story content, maybe some new areas to explore. You know, new items would be great. Find a way to power up the items without including rune words. Like, make regular items hang up there with the rune so they don't overpower the rest of the items, you know?
So like buff items.
Yeah, buff items would be great. Add some new items.
New items,
and,
okay.
New areas to explore. Maybe a new act. I think a new act would be great. I just don't know where they could go with the story.
Yeah, that's tough. That's tough, especially with Diablo 3 already being around. It's like, you know,
completely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Somebody's saying a stash. I like that. A bigger stash is mandatory.
Oh, I agree. That's actually a really good one.
I think everybody would love an infinite stash. I don't know if they have the space for it. I think that's kind of the issue there, is like, would they be able to give everyone an infinite stash? I think that's probably unrealistic for the servers. But at least like do what Path of Diablo does, you know, at a minimum.
Yeah. Corruption would be amazing. I don't think they would go that route though, because, you know, they don't want to copy anyone, but that would be great if they came up with something similar to that.
Right, most definitely. David Brevik has an item named after his, I think it was first or last, no, I guess it would be his last name.
I think it's Schaefer. I think it's Schaefer. Is
it Schaefer? I thought it was Cyverbs. Is it Schaefer?
Yeah, Schaefer was named after Schaefer, the other developer. I don't know what his weapon was called.
I think they named Cyverbs after him or something. I could be wrong.
It might be. I'd have to look it up. Maybe
somebody in the comment section knows, because there'll be someone that definitely knows. Here's a big one, and I think, you know, probably half and half in the community. Did Enigma ruin Diablo 2? Is it fair? Should every character have it? What do you think?
Enigma, how it opened up more classes to explore the axe and do like magic finding. It gave you more ability to like actually magic find with other classes, which is great. But I did hate how it led to widespread duping, and it led to a lot of bots. You know, it pretty much is what ruined the economy of Diablo 2 online.
But weren't there bots before Enigma, like with Sorceress?
There very well could have been, but I don't remember bots being as much of an issue until 1.10.
Huh. See, I played way before 1.10. I'm trying to think. Was it an issue back then? I think bots were always around. I don't know. I feel like they were.
You might be right.
I don't know, though, because I was younger, too. 1.10, I was probably... How old was I in 1.10? Oh, God, I don't know, man. Probably like 10th grade, 9th grade. So I probably didn't pay attention to it as much back then.
That
not sure.
Could be. Because I remember 1.10, the Pindle bot was the hot thing.
That's right. Didn't they nerf Pindle? They nerfed
because of the bots.
Right, and then there was something else as well that they nerfed. It was... Is it Bishy Boss? They like moved him. No, not Bishy Boss. That's in Act 1. Act 5, the big guy.
Thresh Socket, right?
Thresh Socket. Didn't they nerf him? I think they nerfed him, I believe.
Yeah, they did, because he's pretty close to the waypoint. Right,
yeah. He used to be closer, and I think they nerfed a lot of his items as well. I remember that was a big issue. But again, I was younger, so I didn't know as much back then. But I definitely remember. Yeah.
Because before 1.10, they did a lot of duping, like with the SOJs.
Right. So is there anybody older that remembers, you know, paid attention more than us when they were kids? Definitely leave that in the comment section below. Okay. Did you try out? So recently, they came out with the Diablo 1. They're calling it like HD. You can call it whatever you want to call it. Have you bought it? Have you tried it? Will you buy it? Will you try it?
I haven't bought it yet, but I will. I've been watching people play it on Twitch and YouTube.
So I did buy it. And I didn't play it yet. I need to play it. I said I was going to play it, but I got so preoccupied with Path of Diablo. I think this ladder of Path of Diablo just took me over, man. Like, I did not, like, I played Path of Diablo several times, like probably like 3-4 ladders, but this was the first time I ever got to the end game. And this is the first time I ever like really got into corrupting items. And you know, Path of Diablo, in my opinion, really shines at the end game. Mapping. I never did mapping before, and I got addicted like crack. I went from 4 to 5 videos a week of Diablo 2 on YouTube to 0. Now I go once a month on YouTube, right? Because it took over my life. Now we're kind of getting into speedrunning, but this Path of Diablo ladder was so freaking good, man. But we'll get back to the private servers, but keep that in mind. Okay, so neither of us really played it, but I need to play it. I will play it. All right, yeah. Single player versus online play. Do you play Pluggy? Do you play any single player? Anything like that?
You know, I just got back into single player recently. I haven't set up Pluggy, but you know, I played primarily single player when I was younger, and going through and watching people like Llama, you know, your other people play it. It's just, it seems so much better now, like compared to how it was 10, 15. So yeah, I want to get into it and play it more.
I think it's Pluggy, man. I think Pluggy really changed the game for sure.
Absolutely, especially with all the stash space, it makes it great.
Yeah, like I used to love Pluggy, man. Like until I started playing Pod, like I think Pluggy was probably my favorite way to play Diablo 2. But I will say, as someone who's played single player for like multiple years, it did get boring eventually, right? Because it got lonely, it got boring. And I think there's nothing like a good ladder reset. But like, I love Pluggy. It's awesome. It's fantastic. But I think I think most people haven't played Pluggy as long as I have, right? So naturally, I would probably get burnt out before them, right? Like I've literally been playing Pluggy since, God, what? 2016 to late or early 2017 or something. So I mean, it's been years, right? So I got really bored. But
yeah, I'll tell you this much though: if I do play Pluggy, I would definitely do hardcore, because playing hardcore on Pod, it's just going back to softcore. It's not the same.
Absolutely,
it doesn't have that excitement.
Absolutely, me too, man. Like I recently got into hardcore, probably. I don't know, a couple months ago, like 4 months ago, and I can never go back to softcore. I just can't. Like, I didn't. Nope. I was always that guy that's like, oh, hardcore players are try hard. Hardcore players, they're, you know, those guys with no lives. Oh man, but once you go hardcore, I can't go back, dude. Like, I just don't get excited playing softcore. Just knowing that I can die all I want. And there's Sky88 said virgins. Like I can't.
Yeah, I saw that.
Yeah, that's why I don't play my Pluggy character anymore. It's not because I don't like Pluggy. It's because my Pluggy character is softcore, and I'm just like, what's the point? You know what I mean? Like for me, like I said, once you go hardcore, you don't go back, because hardcore, it's always exciting. Every time you play, you could die at any moment, and it's lost forever. All your hard work is just down the drain. So
I was scared of trying it. I'm not gonna lie.
No.
I was scared until you get that first character at a high level, and then all of a sudden you become addicted. You just want to keep doing it.
Definitely. And it's so rewarding. It really is. But like before I played Pod, I was doing a hardcore Holy Grail, and I think I got like 180 items, 170. So it wasn't that much. It was still on the newer side. And then my Aki, which I do not use Akis. I never use Akis. I hate the Oculus. I've always said that. Do not like that item. And for some reason, I don't know. I think the viewers were like, just use the Aki. The MF is amazing. And I was like, yeah, sure. And I used it, and it teleported me. This was in hell. It teleported me when I was doing a 1,000 run video of Andy. Teleported me on top of Andy, and she one-tapped me with like a might aura, or I don't know exactly, but I don't know if she can even get might, but she one-tapped me, and I lost my Holy Grail, and I was just like so pissed.
I was there. You were so flippin' pissed. It was hilarious.
Yeah.
Not like it's hilarious, but not. I don't know how to explain it. I don't want to sound like a dick, but you know, just the fact that you were one tapped was hilarious. But the fact that you died, that sucked. I could tell you were really upset at yourself.
So I wasn't even mad at myself. I was mad at this damn freaking Aki, because I made a vow to myself in high school that I would never use that item under any circumstance. And the one time I use it, it gets me killed on my Holy Grail. The one time my entire life, not entire life. It's been like 10 years since I used that item. And maybe for softcore, it's okay. Maybe.
I use it in softcore.
Yeah, but I would never, ever use that item again on hardcore, dude. I would sell that to the vendor. And I go out of my way, unless somebody wants it in chat, I sell that bad boy to the vendor every time on hardcore. Just on principle. I won't even trade it. I will sell it. I don't care if it's day one ladder. If you guys don't want it in chat, I will sell it to anyone. Akara.
Amazing.
Charcy. I don't care. Anyone. Okay. So another thing. Like, I'm really curious of how many people truly play Diablo 2, because, you know, I've been on the platform for a while. Not just Twitch, but I think I started YouTube before Twitch for Diablo 2. And back then, it was all about the BattleNet. Like, it was all about BattleNet. Private servers were very rare. Very, very rare, right? You probably had... Oh, and then again, this is like 2015, 2016. You probably had... one, I don't know, a couple private servers, but it wasn't really a big deal back then, you know? So in today's world, 2018 to 19, right? I see so many Diablo players. I mean, so many, but you know, we're all spread out now. It's really interesting. I'd love to know how many people actually play Diablo 2, because I'm seeing Pluggy grow more and more, and I'm seeing Path of Diablo just explode, and I'm seeing Median XL explode, but there's no way to get all these numbers / Diablo, right? All these private servers plus single player. I have no way of knowing how many people play Diablo. How many people do you think play Diablo 2 right now?
Well, I feel like legit 10,000 people who still play it. It says on BattleNet there's about 35,000 people, but I have a strong suspicion 80% of them are bots.
Oh yeah, I'm sure a mass majority of botnet. I mean, I don't know the numbers for botnet anymore. I can't say. I
was on it not too long ago, and it said about, like, I think it was 45,000 people. That's all BattleNet.
45,000? That seems really high. Really?
But that's across all of BattleNet, not just one area.
Right. And then there's probably, oh god, so many bots, man.
And keep in mind, classic BattleNet also includes StarCraft and Warcraft 3.
Oh, wait. So it's including that?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Like 45,000 people, and I think it was like 15, 20,000 that were playing Diablo 2.
So 15, 20,000. Yeah. So we'll probably take out, okay, 15, 20,000 when you checked. And it's also mid-ladder right now. So unless you check when the first month, it's hard to say. So Pod, I think, hit 3,000 this ladder, which is pretty good. And that's all legit players, obviously. Yeah. And I know / Diablo probably hits like 500, which isn't, you know, it's not bad. It's not bad. And Median, I think Median probably hit more than Path of Diablo, I would say, because there was so much more publicity around it, right? Like guys like Riker were covering it, and have made several videos, and it made it on Reddit, like the front of Reddit. And I think the original Median XL trailer got like 500,000 views, or maybe more than that. Like, it was ridiculous, like crap load of people, right? I think probably Median's probably the biggest right now. So yeah, I'd probably say like somewhere between 10 to 20,000 people, not all at the same time, probably play Diablo 2. I don't know though, right? Because again, offline's hard to say, man. And I really feel like Pluggy's growing. The influence of single player is growing. Yeah, I don't know. I'm guessing 10 to 20,000. You say that's a good number? Around there, play Diablo 2?
Yeah, I'd say it's about a good number. Like, it's been a while since I've logged in, so keep in mind my numbers are off. And I feel like I contradicted myself a bit, but that's only because I forgot that their servers include every game that's on the classic servers, you know, not just Diablo.
But here's the weird thing though, like if you look at YouTube, there must be more than 10 to 20,000, because look at Zabronsky, his old video, or not his old video, his videos easily get tens of thousands. Like some of them are in the hundreds of thousands, and I have a couple videos that are 200,000 views. I have a couple that are 150,000, 100,000. That's not all active Diablo players. So I mean, the Extremis and some other guys as well have like 500,000 on their. So there's obviously like some sort of interest in Diablo 2, whether they play or not. there's no way that those are all Diablo 2 players, but there's at least people interested, right, in Diablo 2, whether they play or not. It's really hard to say. It could be more than 20,000. Who knows?
Yeah, well, you know, the nostalgia is really the big part of it, because even myself, before I started watching your Twitch account, I had actually quit playing Diablo for a couple years, and then I got back into it. My brother's been trying to get me on for a while now, and I finally rejoined him. Ah,
that's a good connection there. Yeah, I met a guy today. I'm not gonna say his name, but I'm in this class now for the Army for like a week, and they said describe yourself. We had to come up with all these words and shit, and one of my words was Twitch, and people were like, "What's Twitch?" And I was like, "Oh, I kind of speed run and play this game called Diablo 2." And everybody's like, "What's that?" And this guy that was sitting next to me after I sat down, he was like, "Yo, I used to play Diablo 2 for so long, man." He's like, "The last one I played was like 1.10." And I was like, "Yeah, we were just talking about like Diablo 2 and stuff." So it's pretty cool.
That's
like
awesome.
It's very rare that I could meet someone in the real world that plays Diablo 2, but it was pretty cool. Like, you know, he was just telling me about his childhood, and he's like, "Do you remember Stone of Jordan?" I was like, "Yeah, I remember that. That's cool." So I thought that was pretty interesting to see. Yeah, how often do you meet someone in real life that plays Diablo 2?
To be honest, if it wasn't it's mostly just my brother at this point. Like, it's not a very popular game. Like, I meet more people on Twitch and YouTube and the like. Like, the last time I talked to someone in real life that was random about Diablo had to have been about 3 or 4 years ago, at least. Yeah,
it's a shame. It's a shame more people aren't into it. But I think there's a lot of people who would come back. Maybe not forever, but if we had like a remaster, I think for sure.
Yeah, I think the hype would be real.
The interest is there. Cause like when I did, and I think you were there. I don't really recall, but when BlizzCon happened, I've just put watching BlizzCon live in my title, and we had like 400 viewers without host on my Twitch stream, which does not happen. You know that. Like an average day for me, an average stream is like what, 70 viewers, 100 viewers at most. Yeah. Ladder reset might be more, but you know, so to get 400, like, and then there was, you know, I don't know how many people watching BlizzCon on their channel. Like, there's an interest for sure,
definitely, in
Diablo. It's just they don't want to come back to the graphics. You know, they want some content. Fair enough. All right.
You know, I'm in the part of the people that believe that Diablo 2 aged pretty well. I love the sprite graphics. Like, the resolution, if it was improved, I think it would still look really good today.
Yeah, I mean, there's some resolution, like private servers that increase it. Like, I think Resurgence was awesome. /Diablo I thought was fantastic. They do like a 1080p, and it like really widens it. Now the graphics, they are improved for sure, but I think a lot of people are looking more for like that 800 by 600, which I don't think is realistic, because it doesn't make sense. 800 by 600. If you're looking for that in better graphics, it wouldn't fit your screen. It'd be odd.
Window mode.
Right.
Like a window mode, I think.
Yeah, you'd have to play in windowed, and I don't think people want to play windowed. Now, the old school guys like us wouldn't mind, but do the kids want to play that? Do the people coming back to Diablo 2, do they want to play on an 800 by 600? So I think you're going to lose something there. I don't know how it would feel if they redid it, you know? Like, for me, the graphics would be awesome, but for me, you got to capture like the feeling of Diablo 2, right? And it's 25 frames. I think it's 25 frames. So how do you capture that same feeling of Diablo 2? Like, I think they would have to sacrifice that for graphics. I don't know for sure, but I can't imagine it feeling the same.
I agree with you. I feel like they would have to keep the same frame rate, but and they couldn't make things too colorful when they improve the graphics, because otherwise that will make people mad and think they're, turn it to Diablo 3.
Yeah. And like, as someone who used to play StarCraft 2, right, competitively, well, not in tournaments, but rather competitively, on ladder at least, like, it's instant, right? When you click something, it responds instantly. Everything you do. In Diablo 2, it's not really instant. There's like that couple milliseconds of I don't know. I mean, it doesn't respond fast, right? Like when I'm buying potions, it's not like buy. It's like buy, right? Everything just kind of takes that split second extra. And I kind of fear that. I think that's the feeling that is so good in Diablo 2. I think the lag of it, or you know, the lower frames of it is what makes it feel like Diablo 2. So I think if they got a new engine, we wouldn't, I don't know how they would manipulate that same feeling, right? Like when you right click to teleport, it's not instant, you know, it's not just, and I'm not talking about just your faster cast rate, but like it doesn't, when you attack something, when you punch something, right, when I'm speedrun, when I hit something, it's not automatically hits it, right? It does take those little bit of milliseconds. So I don't know if they'll be able to mimic that. I don't know. I'm very concerned about that.
I feel the only way they can do this is if they keep the same engine intact, but they might have to redraw some of the sprite graphics to make them fit better within the, you know, 4K 1080p, you know, gameplay. But they would have to keep the colors dark and of course keep the same music. Maybe they can redo the music a bit, but keep it the same. Just maybe like a remastered version, kind of like what they did with StarCraft Brood War, because I feel like that one did a good job of keeping this original feeling.
Yeah, StarCraft Brood War was amazing.
Yeah,
the remake for sure. But I think
so
David Brevik said it'd be harder though. I think he said it'd be a lot harder.
I think it's because I read somewhere that they had lost a lot of the source files, so they would have to completely do it from scratch.
Yeah, and I think StarCraft was made on like a different engine or something. I could be wrong, but like,
yeah, no, they had to completely remake it. If you actually look online, they talk about how StarCraft lost their code as well. And because of that, they had to completely redo everything, including the engine. And they had so many playthroughs in order to make sure it had the same feeling. Even now, I'd say it's about 98% there. It's still kind of lacking a little bit.
Yeah, they did a good job. All right, so if there's a new Diablo game now, right? Not a patch. If there's a new Diablo game, Diablo 4, what would you keep from the originals, Diablo 1, 2, and 3? I guess even Diablo Immortal, if that's something you want to keep. And what would you change? What would the perfect Diablo 4 be for you?
Well, I feel like between Diablo 1 and 2, between Diablo 1 and Diablo 3, we have two extremes. Diablo 3 went too arcadey, and Diablo 1 with the theme, but the gameplay was too slow. Diablo 2 was like a perfect mix of of both of them. So for Diablo 4, they need to make a turn back to the dark scariness. The problem with that though is with Diablo 3, you know, screwing the whole lore by saying, "Oh my god, everybody's a god now." It's hard to be scared of demons when you're, you know, a freaking god. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So from a business point, do you think they'd sell more copies keeping it truer to Diablo 2? Or is that what the kids want? What do you think? Because it's all about money, right? It's Activision now, yeah. So.
Well, the kids want shiny graphics, and they want 60 frames a second. And, you know, they chose to go with the bright and colorful in Diablo 3 because they had a lot of people who played WoW that were waning off, and they're hoping to catch them onto Diablo 3. So.
Yeah. I think Diablo 4 is going to sell either way, though.
It will sell. Like, there's people like me who will buy even though I hate it, just because I want to continue the lore, even though they screwed it in Diablo 3. I still want to see how the story unfolds and see what they do new, you know?
Most definitely. Perfect Diablo 4 for me. Ah, man. If it was a perfect world, I would want a similar style to Diablo 2. Like, I don't know if you ever saw the Diablo 3 that was going to be the original, like that.
Oh, yeah. It looked badass.
I would like something like that. You know, the same style as, but you'd have to make the graphics a lot newer, because just from a business point, you're not going to make money if you keep it too old, right? If you keep the graphics old. Now, again, we gave a rough estimate of 20,000 people play Diablo 2, right? Let's just be generous here. Let's just pretend 100,000 people play Diablo 2, right? Which is super generous. Yeah. All right. Is that going to make the money if they keep it true to us, like to make us happy? I don't think so. I don't think they would make any money. We would be happy. The old fans would be so happy, but I don't think they'd make any freaking money, dude. I think, unfortunately, if Blizzard wants to make money, they're going to make like this Diablo 3 style game, and that's where the money is. It sucks. It sucks ass.
Yeah, it feels bad.
It does.
You're absolutely right.
It does.
Because And the way everything's going nowadays is everybody want fast, big graphics, and like look at games like Fortnite and all those other terrible games out there. So.
Right. PUBG. That's where it's at, man. PUBG.
PUBG's great. I'll give you that.
I do love my PUBG. Yeah. Something about it, man. It's clunky. I don't know. All right. If you can only pick one for this upcoming BlizzCon, Diablo 2 or Diablo 4, and why?
You mean like between Diablo 2 Remastered and Diablo 4?
Yeah. If only one could release, which would it be?
I'd go with Diablo 2 Remastered, honestly. Especially if they implement ease of life changes like Pod has. That would be amazing.
Too. I'm gonna go crazy. I'm gonna say Diablo 4, man. I'm gonna say Diablo 4 and Diablo 2 for the 20-year anniversary, which would be the year after this. Let me tell you why.
That makes sense.
Let me tell you why. Because Diablo 2 is already here. I think I can wait another year, but I think I would like to have something new. Now, I do think they'll butcher Diablo 4. I think it'll be a terrible game. I hope not, obviously, but I do think it's gonna be a pretty bad game. But I think I'll take the Diablo 4. I'd like to take the Diablo 4 and then the 20-year anniversary, get some Diablo 2, eventually give us that Diablo 2 remastered. But I think we'll have a big surge of people come for a remaster for Diablo 2, but they'll kind of die out. I think Diablo 4 will be massive though. That'd be a big deal, man. That'd be all over Twitch. And then it'd be shit. And then it'd be shit.
I hope it's not like Diablo 3 where it's a decent game, but it's just not Diablo, which is... I'm afraid that's exactly the route they're going, though.
Yeah. Because I thought... Well, I didn't think this. I don't know what I was thinking, but I was hoping that they would get away from the Diablo 3 style. But obviously, with Diablo Immortal, it's pretty much Diablo 3 on the phone, right? It's almost the same. It's like it's not even almost. It's the same graphics on the same maps. It's like, seriously? Really? So obviously they like this style. They like the Diablo 3 style. They like the WoW style. This is something that they want to keep. This is obviously what they're going to keep doing for Diablo 4, in my opinion. I hope not, but I just can't see. I think it's too easy for them. They've already done it. They're lazy. They're just a lazy company at this point. And I think they're going to do it, man. I think Diablo 4 is going to be just like Diablo 3, man.
See, the problem I have with Diablo Immortal that's coming out, it's not even as much as it's going to be Diablo 3 on mobile. Although, as a D2 fan, I don't like it. But what bugs me is, it's just a cash. It's going to be full of microtransactions. They're going to do everything they can to reach into your pocketbook. Like, crap like, oh, you want to identify these items? We'll pay 99 cents and we'll let you have 5 identity scrolls, They're going to look for any way they can to take money from people, which is going to suck.
Yep. Oh, they're doing it. Nothing shocks me anymore. And nothing after what just happened to us as a fan, nothing shocks me at all. Like, you could not surprise me at this point. If Blizzard comes out this BlizzCon and says, hey guys, we got a big announcement. We got another phone game, Diablo 3.9 or Diablo, even Diablo 4 or Diablo 3.5 or whatever, or remastering Diablo 2 on the phone, I would, at this point, would not be slightly shocked, man. I don't think there's any hope in my heart right now. And that's sad, dude. That is sad. They have to win my trust back personally. And you're going to have to do something big to get my trust back.
Absolutely.
The way they did that, man. And I've said this before, if anybody watches our stream, like the year before this one, or 2018's, right? They announced, hey, no big projects. Nothing's going to happen at BlizzCon. Don't get your hopes up. That was cool. I mean, it was sad, but it was cool because at least they said, hey, don't expect anything. And that's how everybody thought 2018 was going to be as well. We're all like, okay, Diablo's kind of on the downslope, right? PoE's murdering it. It's not much is going to happen with Diablo this year. And then Nebula came on in that tweet. Let's go ahead and play that tweet. If we can find that tweet real quick. What is it? Sure. Diablo what was her name? Nebulous? Multiple Diablo projects. If we could find that real quick. Multiple Diablo projects. If she wouldn't have came out with this tweet, nobody would have had any sort of expectations. You know what I mean? Like whatsoever. And I mean, it's a dang shame. It is a dang shame. Okay, I got it. Listen up.
Greetings, heroes. I'm Community Manager Brandy Camel, also known as Team. Theme Seasons. The Season of Greed is our first theme season, and we plan to explore additional themes in the future. If you'd like to know more, click the link in the video description below. We'd also like to let you know that the forges here at Blizzard are burning hot, and we have multiple Diablo projects, multiple Diablo projects in the works. Some of them are going to take longer than others, but we may have some things to show you later this year.
Okay. So we may have some things, right, to show you. And I'll admit this is partially my fault as well for thinking into it too much. But everybody thought, right, something massive was coming, or multiple Diablo projects were coming, right? So after we all saw that, at least from a content creator's view, I'm like, oh my god, this is amazing. Like we're gonna make so many videos, you know, Diablo's gonna be this huge popular game again. It's gonna be awesome. It's gonna be so fun. And then they just killed us all. And I remember about what, 2 weeks prior, they were like, guys, you know, pump the brakes. It's not what you think it is, but something's coming. And that was like, seriously, why'd you hype us up then? Yeah,
it was pretty messed up of them.
They did it to us, in my opinion. Now, here's one thing. I got a question for you. Do you feel bad for the developers? Wyatt Chang, Nebula, what is Nebulous? I don't know her name. And all the developers of how they've been treated after the Diablo Immortal thing.
Are we talking the developers for Diablo Immortal directly?
Right, like, you know, the people behind the scenes, not Activision, the owners, but like, you know, the people that create the game, and like I said, Wyatt Chang and all those guys. Like, how do you feel about them? You feel bad for them?
I feel bad for them in a sense where it's, you know, they're getting all this negative publicity when all they did was follow orders. And Blizzard specifically, they're the ones who buried themselves by hyping everybody up for what was Diablo 4, and then to give a mobile game. You know, it was a slap in the face, but I don't blame them specifically. I feel like it's all on Blizzard. And, you know, they don't choose what they want to work on. Like, yeah, it may not end up being a passion project for them, and, you know, it's probably going to suck, but, you know, it's not really their fault. That's all on Blizzard.
Yeah, I feel really bad for them. I do. Yeah. I don't feel bad for whoever made the choices, right? Like, let's come with the phone game. I don't feel bad for the people who pulled the plug, because I think they pulled the plug. I think Nebulous, I don't know how to say her name. I hope I'm not butchering her name. I think they meant well, and they planned on doing something huge like a Diablo 4 or Diablo 2 announcement or something like that. And then they were like, whoa, wait a minute, this isn't ready. Or pump the brakes, something, you know, this isn't the time for this. So they put out that message to everybody, and they were like, hey, you know, it's not what you think it is. So I think I do feel really bad for them. I feel really bad for like Wyatt Chang. I mean, he shouldn't have said the phone thing. I feel really bad for like the development team, because that's gotta suck, man. Like, millions of people memeing on you, and they probably are good people and they want to give us a good game, but like the greedy Activision, more than likely it just won't let them. I think they're probably holding them back, and it's a dang shame. I do feel bad for them. Yeah, I feel bad for them on a personal level. Unless they want the phone game and they didn't want Diablo 2 Remaster and they didn't want Diablo 4, then I don't feel bad for them. But more than likely, they want to give us good content, I think.
And, you know, I agree with you. I do believe they probably had something Diablo 4 ready to go. But I actually believe that it was more of a greed thing. They wanted Diablo Immortal to be the talk of the show. And, you know, they got it. It just wasn't the intended, you know, what they wanted. It wasn't what they intended.
Yeah, most definitely. Can they save the franchise, do you think?
Yeah, Blizzard's a great developer, and they've made some amazing games over the years. Although they have lost sight of what made them great in the past, if anyone can fix it, it's them. They just need to look deep. What made them great before. Like they're missing a couple of their best developers, and Brevik and Schaefer, and but they still have some other skillful people there. So I think they could work out of it if they look to what made them big and try to replicate that.
So like I think the whole Blizzard North team is gone. Like I think everybody's gone. So the original Diablo 2 people just out, they're gone. And what like if you think about it, when's the last time Diablo had a good game? Diablo 2, right? LOD. How long ago was that? That was
almost 20 years.
It's almost 20 years ago, right?
Yeah.
So they haven't done shit for 20 years. 20 years.
StarCraft, Warcraft 3, those were great games. I'm sure they're capable of doing what Blizzard North did. Probably not as skillful, but I'm sure it could be at least a more decent replication compared to the other team they had on Diablo 3.
Yeah. So I do think Blizzard makes good games in general, right? But I don't think they'll be able to make a good Diablo game. I don't know. Or here's the thing. Okay, maybe they can make a good game. Maybe, right? But I don't think there's any... I think it's a lose-lose for them if they're trying to appease to us, the old players. I think the old players, you're just not going to make happy. Like, no matter what you do. You're like people and their Diablo 2 and Diablo 1, that's what they love. And when you make Diablo 4, it doesn't matter how good the game is, I don't think you're ever going to make the old crowd happy. For the most part. There'll be a couple of us happy, but I think most of them are just not going to like it no matter what you do. It's a dang shame.
I agree with you, though. Mainly just because, like I said, people like myself, like, even though I'll play Diablo 4, like, Diablo 3 just ruined the whole thing. Humans fighting demons and being hopelessly overwhelmed with no chance of winning. And now all of a sudden they're all gods, and one man can own all the demons if he wanted to, just like what happened in Diablo 3. It takes away that scare factor. Now you feel like you're playing as a superhero in a game that was a medieval horror movie or medieval horror game. It's not the same anymore.
Yeah. Ebony says, but playing Diablo 2 is a fanaticism. Not many people care about Diablo 2. It's a very outdated system which can't success today. So I guess you're saying Diablo 2 is outdated and it can't be successful. God, I mean, it sucks. It sucks, but I mean, if you want to go by like popularity, Diablo 2, yeah, I mean he's got, I don't agree with everything he says, but I get it. Yeah, from a business point, like, it doesn't make sense to appease to the Diablo 2 audience because there's not enough of us. I want them to, but they're not going to make any money if they made it. Well, they make some money. They make some money for sure, but they probably make more money if they appease to the kids for sure.
Yeah. What I was going to say is, even if you look back to Diablo 2 in its heyday, when it was the hot thing, keep in mind that game, if you look up the sales numbers, the sales numbers they made back in those days wouldn't hold a peg to the sales numbers of games today. So, it's hard to keep doing that because it's a different environment out there. You know what I'm saying? A different game environment.
Right. Oh, yeah. Well, PCs weren't as popular back then either. I think there's more PC gamers now than console gamers, maybe. Possibly. Yeah. PCs back then were like one for at least for my household, it was like one in the living room. And then my mom, because we had dial up or whatever, my mom would like unplug it and call somebody, and then I'd lose the internet. And so like, it was definitely about consoles, at least in America. It was all about consoles back then.
No, absolutely. But, it hurts to know that Diablo 3 is like the top selling Diablo of all time, because that's going to hinder the development on the new Diablo because they're going to want to replicate that. That kind of sucks.
Yeah. Yeah, I think, oh, God, I hate that when I'm debating somebody, Diablo 2 versus Diablo 3, and they say, well, Diablo 3 sold more. Yeah, but the only reason it sold more, it's not because it was a good game. Most of those sales came from like the first week or two, or the month, right? Because of how good Diablo 2 was. That's why they sold so much. Yeah.
Much different sales environment. Like you said, computers weren't as big back then. Which is true, because I remember playing a computer when I was 8, 9, 10 years old, and like I felt like none of my friends did. Everybody played, Nintendo 64,
Yep.
PlayStation 2. Like, computer people were very rare.
Yeah, computer was very. I didn't know anybody who played on the PC, man. Maybe one or two people that I knew in my school, but it was never about PC gaming. I played PC gaming. I was all about Brood War. I was all about Warcraft 2, Diablo 2. But I didn't go to groups of people and like, well, I would in the past, but hey, you guys got a PC? They're like, no. That's for the internet. That's for searching Google. I don't know if we use Google. We probably use Yahoo.
Yeah.
But yeah, PC games.
That's PC games are for nerds, right?
Yeah. Back then it was like you're a freaking dweeb if you play on the computer, man. And that it was very rare to find someone that well, hey, I play on the computer. That was kind of the image back then. But now, everybody has a computer. So different, right?
Yeah.
It's amazing. Imagine another 10, 20 years. Oh God, it'd be crazy.
Computers are a lot cheaper now. You can get a pretty beast machine for $600-700 nowadays.
Yeah.
Back then.
Yeah. True.
4,000 or 5,000 for an entry level.
Yeah. True. Okay. Next one. Speedrunning. What do you think about speedrunning? Do you watch it? Do you speedrun? Do you appreciate it?
Speedrunning is awesome. I love seeing all the creative ways that people solve problems. Like I was watching Ryu the other day, and just watching him, cube up runes and, putting stuff in the cube and like creating like different items and stuff like that. And, obviously Diablo normal runs don't have all that craziness, but if you watch a hell run, they have so many cool strats. It's awesome. Just the creativity. I love it.
Yeah. Have you always liked speedrunning?
No, actually, I would say that Llama got me into speedrunning, watching his videos on YouTube.
Right.
And then, of course, I started watching more people, and I just thought it was awesome.
Yeah, I used to not be a big fan of speedrunning, to be honest, up until recently. Well, I guess I'd say 2018, I was kind of like, this is all right. It's getting better. But I thought it was like, I wasn't into speedrunning at all, man. It was all about the ladder. It was all about the pluggy. It was all about getting the GGs. And definitely, once I started doing it, I was like, oh, man, this is so fun. Like, I didn't know, like, okay. And again, I've said this on my Twitch a million times, but like, how often would you care about a 7 to fire resist ring, right? You wouldn't normally care about that. You care about the Shaco, the Maras. You don't appreciate those type of items when you get 10% faster run walk on your boots, and you get, I don't know, a Tur rune in your helmet, and you get mana after each kill. Like, the beginner stuff is so awesome when you in speedrunning. When you and that's why I really like it. That's why I like doing Ironmans at level 9 or level 12 or something, because it forces you to use those noob items, brand new level 6, level 9 items that you would never use if you played ladder, and you wouldn't give a crap about. You only want the end game shit. So you really got to think about, especially on the fly, like you mentioned, like, oh, is this good? Should I use that? Should I use this? Right? I love using the noobish beginner items. I think that's really awesome.
Exactly. And then you like look at stealth. Stealth was a rune word that never got any use back in the day, but it's an amazing rune word for speed running. Same thing with things like what is it? Soul? What's that helm called?
Lore.
Lore, yes.
Yeah.
And then of course regular items like Hotspur boots, Hisaris heals. There's a lot of items which would normally not get any use that are good game, amazing, and you actually get the chance to use them. And I agree with you 100%.
Yeah, stealth I always get at the beginning of ladders, but it's not a huge deal. It's like, okay, I got a stealth, that's cool. But I do always get that. Things like Leaf, like Relax is mentioning now.
Yeah, I didn't know about those rune words until I started watching speedrunning.
Really?
Yeah.
See, I knew about them. I always used them, but it was never a big deal. It was never like, oh, this is amazing. But like, once I get my stealth, I'm happy. Once I get my Leaf, I'm happy. And you mentioned Hisara. I think it's Hisaris. I don't know if I'm butchering that. Boots.
Heals.
Oh yeah, those are so awesome when you get those. Sanders are awesome when you get them in a speed run. And in the regular game, you're like, that's, who gives a shit? I'm ready to get to hell. Let's get this end game stuff. Let's get the end game content. I want to get a Griffins. I want to get a Windforce. You don't really give a crap about the stuff in between or at the beginning of the game. So I love the creativity of it. And I mean, obviously speedrunning is massive, right? Because if you look at like Llama or Ryu, I mean, when they go on GDQ or something, you know, hundreds of thousands of viewers, and that could be because of GDQ, but you know, even on the normal, they get a couple thousand viewers for speed runs, even when they're not on GDQ, and it just shows you how many more people are into speed running that, you know, aren't willing to grind out Mephisto, aren't willing to grind out bail runs, and you know, that kind of stuff. So yeah, definitely a big audience for it. I think there's people who just like watching speedrunning in general, which is really cool.
Yeah, but absolutely. And honestly, I kind of want to get into it myself. Just, you know, I'm not fast as fuck like you are, so it's gonna take some time.
Oh, I'm not that fast. I'm not that fast. We just got sub 140, so woohoo!
I know,
on the sin. Yeah, that was tough. What's I gonna say? All right, we'll move on. So, what made Diablo so special?
Fast as fuck, boy. Still fast as fuck, boy.
What do you think what made it Diablo 2? What made it so special?
Well, to be honest with you, Diablo 2 is special to me just because I love Diablo 1 so much. It was a natural extension for Diablo 1, and then I fell in love with Diablo 2 because change of gameplay and all the quality of life improvements in comparison to the original. And, you know, I just like the epicness of the story, like fighting the 3 primevals and, you know, and then, you know, when I got more involved with it, I loved magic finding. Like, it was an addiction. I spent hours at a time running Mephisto, Pendle, just trying to find stuff, you know. It was pretty, you know, nothing matches that game.
Yeah.
Just the feeling of grinding to find stuff, or the creating a new character, trying out new strategies. There's just so much awesome things to do.
What made Diablo special for me? Oh man, I don't know. I guess it was the first game that I played that was like that. I still remember my first character was Amazon. Didn't know what I was doing. I was in 7th grade, and people showed me like this book of Diablo, like the original book, and I just looked through the
Brady
pictures.
Games?
I actually have one right here. I don't remember. Yeah, I guess it is Brady Games, huh? Yeah, this one.
Yeah, I had it too.
It might have been LOD though that I had, but I think it was LOD that I had. And somebody at school showed me, and I was like, "Oh my god, this looks so cool!" They're telling me about the characters, and I was like, "Wow, this is so cool, man!" And I went home and played the Amazon. Didn't know what I was doing out in the Bloodmoor. I don't even think I made it past Cold Plains. I was just hitting shit. It was late at night. It was really late at night. My mom made me go to bed, and it's special. I think it was the first game I played like that. It's probably why it was so special. But
It's a fun game.
yeah, and it was like my first online game that was like that, I think, for me. Because like I said, I played StarCraft and all that, but StarCraft, you don't make a connection with people. You don't like keep your characters, right? Every time you reset, that's it, right? You start again with a new base, and it's over. There's nothing else. But Diablo was like, I keep this character, you know. And maybe if I played like Warcraft or World of Warcraft, it would have been different. I would have had that same feeling. I'm sure I would have. But for me, that was like my first ARPG, or that was like I keep these items and I farm, and I don't know, maybe that's where the addiction fell.
Yeah, I'm there with you. I agree with you.
Do you see Diablo 2 getting more or less popular as time goes on?
I feel like it's only get more popular from here. And the only reason I say that, even though it sounds like an unpopular opinion, is because as the game gets older, I feel like they're gonna be like, "Oh yeah, I love Diablo 2." You know how they always have to be on the not cool thing, and it's gonna go the route of like a classic game collecting, and you know, people are gonna start playing it again. And
I hope so. Will they play private servers, you think, or botnet?
I think they'll play botnet, but then more people will get to private servers. Like, private servers are great, and they're bigger than they used to be, mainly because of itself that bring it to the populace.
Mm-hmm.
But a lot of people just see the main line game, and they'll have to get into that first before they move on to a vanilla server or a external server from somebody else.
I think it'll grow a little bit. I don't think it's gonna be anything crazy. I think it'll grow a little bit.
I don't think it'll be crazy either, but I think it's gonna grow bigger than we're now.
Yeah, like I don't think it'll do what RuneScape did. You know, like RuneScape became crazy popular, so I've heard. I think it was in New Zealand or Australia. I don't remember. But that was also because the company made it like a remake and cared about their game, and Blizzard doesn't give a crap about Diablo 2. They don't do anything for Diablo 2. They're so disconnected from Diablo 2. Like, it seems like they don't even acknowledge Diablo 2 at times.
I wonder if Blizzard will ever shut down the private servers. I don't think they ever will, just because I don't think they do. But at the same time, I do wonder.
Your mic's cutting in and out a little bit.
But if they ever decide they want to reboot it or something like that, I could see them reaching out and trying to squash these private servers. Like in the past, I don't know if you know, but back around the time of when we actually had some private servers out back in those days, but Blizzard sent them cease and desist letters.
For which game?
But nowadays, Diablo 2. Back at 1.10, there was a classic server that was 1.08.
Really?
I don't remember the name of it, but it got shut down by a cease and desist letter by Blizzard. They actually used to care.
I did not know that. I know about World of Warcraft. The classic servers were becoming too popular, so they shut down those. But that's different too, though, because World of Warcraft is like a subscription based and makes them ass loads of money. And so when people started playing the classic servers, they stopped making money. But Diablo 2, I don't think it's making them that much money. It's probably making them a little bit of money every month, but I really don't think they don't even give a shit, man. I don't know. But yeah, maybe if they remaster, though. Maybe if they remaster, I could see that. I could see them shutting down stuff. I don't know.
Well, also keep in mind that a lot of the private servers back in the day were created from hacks. They weren't actually based on the Diablo 2 CD or the executive file like Path of Diablo.
Huh. That makes sense. I hope they don't.
That's probably
I love Path of Diablo. I think Path of Diablo is fantastic. All right, next topic. Let me see. Why do you think Diablo 3 is not as popular as Path of Exile?
Based on my own personal experience, I would say that it's too arcadey. It loses your attention too quickly, and the grind of items. It's just not like, if it was more like Diablo 2 with the loot system and the ability to trade, I feel like it would still be around. But Path of Exile does a much better job of capturing the original Diablo 2 spirit and then expanding on it. So that's what I believe.
I think items are too easy to get in Diablo 3. Like, you pretty much get freebies. You pretty much get handed a set if you complete certain quests. It's like, oh, here you go. Here's your set. Here you go. Everything's just, I don't know. It's too easy to get. And the damage is ridiculous. Like, hundreds of thousands of millions of damage. And who gives a shit about another, I don't know, 30,000 damage? Like, it gets wild. And this Paragon system is wild too. I don't want to be Paragon 3000. What is this? Like, there should be like a level cap, 1 through 99, 100, or maybe if you want to go crazy, 110. That'd be really hard to get the last 10, but it's just ridiculous. At least in my opinion.
No, I think you have a good point of view on the matter. I think that's true.
And there's no replayability with Diablo 3. Like Path of Exile, there's every 3 months, I think? It's either every 3 or 4 months. I think it's 3. They come out with this new patch. So even if it's not a big deal, at least there's something new to do. 4 times a year, 3 or 4 times every single year, right? Diablo 3 is not like that. Diablo 3 is like, here's a Necro. We didn't fix the game at all, but here's a Necro. We need $20 for that. We're gonna start leagues now. Twice the goblins. Yeah, that's our new leagues, guys. You get twice the goblins this league. Woohoo! And then if you look at Path of Exile, they created Incursion, which is where you travel back in time. You rearrange it. You rearrange temples. And then you had Betrayal and like the things that they add in all the time. In comparison to Diablo 3 is, we added some more damage here. We typed in some numbers like, okay, done. There's your patch, guys. This one's nerfed, that one's buffed. There you go. But there's no content. There's nothing to do in the game, right? It's just, it's so sad.
Yeah, and I find it really interesting, the fact that they're still releasing new Diablo 3 versions today, like the Switch version that came out last year.
Yeah.
Yet they're not creating new content. It's like they're creating new versions of a dead game. It's like, I don't understand it.
Yeah, I don't get it either. Why would you come out with the Nintendo Switch game of it in 2018? Why? Who cares?
Right?
There's a couple people that care, but most people don't care.
Yeah.
Why not a new expansion? New content. I don't know. That just seems silly. Okay.
It is silly.
You played other ARPGs such as Grim Dawn, Vulcan, Torchlight, Last Epoch?
To be honest, I don't really play a lot of new age ones. Like, I played a lot of Baldur's Gate when I was young, but that's about it.
Okay.
Like, I've I don't know. It just doesn't seem the same to me. Like, I do want to try Path of Exile soon, and maybe Torchlight, just because the original Blizzard North is involved, or at least key members. But aside from that, you know, I don't really have any interest in Woken or Last Epoch. At least not now yet.
Yeah, I've tried Grim Dawn very briefly. I didn't play it enough. I've been too busy. Maybe one day. I didn't really care for it, but to be fair, again, I didn't play enough of it, so I can't give it like a fair review. Woken, I've never tried. Maybe I'll try it. And what was the other one? Last Epoch, I've never tried. Definitely played a lot of PoE, and I like PoE a lot. I think it's a really good game. Doesn't have that, for me, it doesn't have that replayability that Diablo 2 has. Yeah. Obviously, there's way more content in Path of Exile. Like, there's 1,000 times more content in Path of Exile than Diablo 2. So I'm not saying there's not content, because there really is so much.
Yeah.
But I don't feel the urge to keep playing it. I play it for like 3 weeks, a month, and then I'm like, kind of bored. You know, I don't know why. I don't know. It doesn't capture me as much. Torchlight for me just doesn't. I don't know, man. It looks so childish. Yeah.
Yeah, it's very, very kiddie friendly. Although Path of Exile, when the new patch comes out and you start playing it, I'll probably watch you play it for a bit, and you know, from there, once I learn some more about it, I might try it.
I think I'll play when 4.0 comes out, but like I said, this latest patch for me just, I don't know. It didn't seem interesting, so I skipped it. I played Incursion, I played Betrayal, I played Delve. I liked all those. I don't know. This one just didn't seem to do it for me, and I was like, I'd rather play Path of Diablo than play this. And I think I made a good choice. I don't know. It didn't seem that interesting to me. I don't know. The memory shards, or I don't really know all that, but I don't know. I think, like I said before, I think they're saving the big stuff for ExileCon, which is going to be like patch 4.0. Because for those who don't know, Path of Exile is gonna start basically a BlizzCon, but it's for Path of Exile. They're gonna call it ExileCon. And from a business point, like, I also wouldn't put my best stuff out there, right? So early. That'd be kind of foolish. You wouldn't put your best stuff like 6 months to a year prior. You want to save all your good stuff for the big 4.0. You want to impress people when they come to the first ever ExileCon in New Zealand. I think it's New Zealand. So I get it. I think for now it's just gonna be a bunch of filler and little stuff to do, but nothing too crazy.
Well, yeah, they want to make it into a big thing, and the best way to make it into a big thing is release their best content. It makes sense.
Yeah, I would do the same. You can't invite all these people and disappoint them like Blizzard did.
Yeah.
You know, I was pissed, and I only spent $50 on my virtual ticket. You know, could you imagine spending like, I don't know, $1,000 on a plane ticket, or 600, then a hotel, then the food, then the entrance fee, then some souvenirs, maybe bought the t-shirt like I did. I bought this t-shirt before I knew it was Diablo Immortal, right? And the hat and some other things. And, you know, you could be a couple grand in the hole just to come all the way there. Maybe even take vacation from your job just to see this live, to get slapped in the face by Diablo Immortal.
Yeah, absolutely.
I can't imagine.
Feels bad.
It does. All right, so we're going to wrap it up, Greg. Thank you so much for joining me, man. Otherwise, I would have talked about all this by myself. So that's awesome, man. Really appreciate it. Appreciate that, man. And anybody who's watching on YouTube right now, you know, if you ever want to get on the show, definitely let me know. Looking for content creators. If not, hey, mods, get ready, because you're getting on the show. Thank you, Greg. Your insight was awesome. Appreciate it, brother.
Thank you.
All right, bro. Thank you so much for watching the stream today. And thank you so much for watching on YouTube, guys. If you like this video, make sure to hit thumbs up. And tell your favorite content creator, get on the show, get on the next show. I want to get their picture over here, or here if we get like Dabrowski or Llama, or, you know, it's one of those guys. I'll probably hit them up, and we can actually show them, and maybe we can get like several Diablo 2 content creators. This is just kind of like the pilot and everything, but I'd love to get people's faces on here. I'd love to have us all talking at the same time about Diablo 2, Diablo 3, future of Diablo, other ARPGs, whatever, guys. If you ever want to talk more, !Discord. You can find out our Discord. You can give me some cool topics. Nothing too specific. I don't want to give you the faster run walk percentage or something. So anyways, guys, thank you so much for watching the podcast. It was awesome. Let me know if you guys liked it in the Discord today. Peace out.